Welcome to a demonstration of deploying Amazon instances from the ServiceNow catalog using CloudForms. I'm going to log into CloudForms now to show you the current layout of our environment. I've got CloudForms connected to my Amazon account, and if I go into instances, you'll see what instances currently I've got running or existing in my Amazon environment. You can see I've got a CloudForms appliance. I've got a couple of tests here. I've got a terminated, my first test, and then I've got actually one which is currently stopped, so it's not actually terminated. The running instance is actually a CloudForms appliance. So yeah, I've actually got CloudForms running inside of EC2, and this is the one I'm actually connecting to right now. So let's go to ServiceNow. This is the ServiceNow front end. As you can see, it's got a number of widgets on here, news feeds and so on. On here we've actually got a catalog, service catalog I can go to, and I can select various items. If I want a new notebook or iPhone or things like that, I can order it from the corporate catalog, but I can also order cloud infrastructure from here as well. And I've got an instance here, AWS instance. So Amazon Web Services EC2 instance, I can click here and bring up the catalog item. Instance name, I can name this instance. So I'm going to call this my third test. And I'm going to click order now. Now, when this is gone into the request queue, I can click here and it shows me inside of ServiceNow that it's waiting for approval. Because I'm actually an administrator, I can actually approve my own requests. Obviously, if you set up ServiceNow, you may have a hierarchy to the approval, like you would inside of CloudForms too. I'm selecting the request I've just submitted, which is here, requested. I can change the state of the request to various stages in the life cycle. I can cancel it, reject it, but I can also approve it. I want to put some detail in here, which is I like this order, and click approve. Now, when I click approve, what's going to happen is that ServiceNow is going to take this item and put it into its request queue onto the next phase of the workflow. So let's go and have a look actually at this this item here, and we can see here that we can go and have a look at the workflow. It's gone past its approval stage, and if we actually go into CloudForms now, we can go to the services and the request queue, and we should actually see this request has now been accepted by CloudForms. So there it is there. So it's pending. It's a rel 6.4 test image, and it's going to be instantiated as my third test. So we can click on this, and interestingly we can actually go and see the detail that ServiceNow has been passing through. So it's been requested by ServiceNow Web Services. We can click on catalog, for instance, and we can see inside of this request is the rel 6.4 test image. We've asked for one of them, and the instance name we're going to call it is my third test. We can also see the environment that it's being passed to, so it's going into the US East 1A availability zone, and we could also see the various properties and schedules for this instance. So with that now in the request queue, I'd like to show you the workflow that sits behind what's been going on here. So we go back to ServiceNow, and if we go down to the show workflow, we can now see the service designer inside of ServiceNow. And here we've got a drag and drop interface that allows us to place onto this blank canvas approvals, actions, ifs and so on. In this particular workflow, it's a very simple workflow for us in our demonstration. We begin it, we go straight into approval, and we either approve or reject. In this particular case, we approved it, so we follow the blue line. It got approved, and it went on to run the fulfillment stage. And that's basically where it took the inputs from the form inside of ServiceNow and then massaged those into a SOAP request. Now that SOAP request was then sent to CloudForms, and CloudForms then initiated that and put it into a request queue and started provisioning the instance. And then finally it ended. So with all of these marked as blue, this shows me that everything was good. Anything here which is red would show up as it had been failed. So we can edit this workflow and we can add more steps to this. So one of the things I would like to do to enhance this demonstration would be to maybe add more fulfillments, which would allow me to go and instantiate even more workloads, call other workflows from within inside of CloudForms, not just machine or virtual machine instance instantiation. I could call maybe load balancer configs, for instance. So we could actually, on this canvas, we could mock up a workflow that instantiated 1, 2, 3 or 4 different virtual machine instances inside of Amazon, and then finally one of its last stages would be to actually add them all to an elastic load balancer. Let's go back to CloudForms now and see how this request is getting on. So we go back to requests. We should now see that it's moved on quite a bit, so it's now customizing the workload. And it's calling it my third test, so it should be instantiated now. I'm now going to go into Amazon. I wouldn't typically do this because obviously I'm using CloudForms, so I don't really need to use Amazon for my day-to-day tasks. I can use CloudForms and its role-based access. But if we go into Amazon and we click on EC2, we should be able to see what's going on inside of EC2. And now you can see the number of instances that are here. So we've got my second test. We've got CloudForms 3.0, which we could see inside of CloudForms earlier, and we've now got my third test, which is currently running, and it's just doing its final initialization checks with inside of Amazon EC2. So that shows you Amazon seeing it. We can see inside of CloudForms now, if we go to Clouds and Instances, CloudForms should have picked up that this is here now, and it has. So my third test as a instance is now marked as running inside of our provider. If we drill down into the availability zone, which was 1A, we should see exactly the workloads that are here. And here they are. I can click on my third test and I can do the normal CloudForms lifecycle management to this instance, including retiring it and looking at its capacity, performance, utilization information through Amazon CloudWatch. I'm going to terminate this instance so that I don't waste any more CPU and charge inside of Amazon. So that now concludes the demonstration of provisioning instances in Amazon using the ServiceNow catalog and CloudForms as the provisioning engine.